you know that these Junk Reanimator decks have acidic slime. Yes, people started to move away from acidic slime, but they've not moved away from it as in not in their 75. They've just moved away from it in the main deck to the sideboard. Corvese has not made that change for this tournament, but some other players have.
Yeah, and you know, regardless of whether or not your opponent has it in the main deck or in the sideboard, you know it's going to be in the post-board games, and so that makes Underworld Connections a really risky proposition.
Yeah.
Upside still might be worth it. I mean, even if you get a couple activations on it, it still could be net upside, and if your opponent doesn't have acidic slime, then you can just run away with the game.
Yeah.
But it is going to be fraught with some peril, for sure.
Yes. And as Harry is taking Mulligan down to at least 5 now, if you're just joining us, Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan here in Miami, we have taken, all right, we've taken our talents to South Beach. That's 2.
Yeah.
That's 2. That one was forced.
Number 2.
At SCGLive, hashtag GP Miami for your tweets. Join us on Twitter all weekend long today and tomorrow as we will crown a new Grand Prix champion. We'll see who our standard winner in Miami will be this weekend, as Corvese does not look terribly thrilled and is going to go down to 4.
Yeah, and you know, obviously any deck mulligan to 4 is really bad, but especially a deck that it's stretched on mana, it has a lot of 7 mana creatures. Now, the flip side of that is good mulches and grizzly salvages can actually catch him up in raw card count. And if he has enough graveyard synergies, he actually might be able to have a reasonable amount of play with 4 cards. But the other side of it is he might draw a bunch of Angel Serenities, be missing colors, etc., etc. So.
We often say that a Junk Reanimator's deck that does mulligan quite well. I don't know how well it mulligans to 4, but I think it's going to start with mulch, if anything. As Harry's happy enough. I mean, he has at least 2 lands. That's not so bad. And Sharfman does not have a Farseek on Barrel Rights, the draw step for the turn for Corvese. So, and he's even got white mana. So we could see the impossible happen here. The Stomping Ground from Sharfman going to pass the turn back. Sin Collector the draw with the necessary mana to cast it.
We got an Burial Rights. Maybe if Sharfman's hand is very spell heavy.
2 damage from a Goblet Shrine, and now so Bonfire the Damned, and you see Liliana the Veil, Vraska, which you felt he would sideboard in, and a Huntmaster of the Fells going along with a Mountain.
Missing the 2nd black mana necessary for Liliana, but has Huntmaster and a potential curve of Huntmaster into Vraska, which is quite good.
Yeah. I see Sharfman being a nice guy, playing with his hand up, keeping the information revealed to you guys at home, as well as Harry, his opponent, who does draw a card. Absence Pilgrim to draw for the turn. So at least there's a spell to play.
Yep.
To make it so that Huntmaster of the Fells is not going to flip into Ravager of the Fells just yet. So passing the turn back. See what Sharfman's able to find this turn.
Has he found a 5th land yet?
The better question is, if he does he even cast a spell?
Yeah, I guess Vraska is roughly the same as just allowing your Ravager your Huntmaster to flip in Ravager. I guess there's the outside chance that Harry could be slow rolling a Grizzly Salvage here, and therefore it would be really bad to just do nothing.
There's also the threat too of if Sharfman does pass the turn back and flips the Ravager, Corvese could just have a Restoration Angel to blank whatever the Ravager is going to try to take down. So here is the attempt to deal 2 damage to something, and it's going to work. Absence Pilgrim's going to bite the dust, and Corvese is going to take 2. You see Corvese's hand right now. He has Unburial Rights and Thraktusk in his hand. Currently a mana short, and his draw step for the turn is a bit of a mystery. So I think if it was, and it is a Deathrite Shaman, I was going to say if it was a 5th land, I think he would have slammed it down and cast Thraktusk.
Yeah. Deathrite Shaman cutting off a little bit of the line that he had with Vraska, because he can still make mana the following turn.
Yeah. So here comes your Wolf token in the Ravager of the Fells.
Deciding if he wants to put Sin Collector in front of a Wolf, I suppose.
Yeah. And what are the merits of that versus doing something else? Do you want to start protecting your life total a little bit here when you know that your opponent has Liliana the Veil and Vraska in hand? And it looks like happy to trade. There's a Farseek.
Gonna get another black mana here.
Yep. So now Liliana will be online starting next turn.
Does he have a 2nd spell? No.
Yep, no, place Overgrown Tomb untapped, and I was going to play Liliana. So 2nd spell indeed. And no, this looks like no activation of the Liliana. Now that's interesting.
Somewhat surprising there. I guess he feels he can play the Huntmaster back into Ravager and have an Edict kind of left over. He doesn't want to plus it because he wants to keep his Vraska, and so that leaves him.
It's rare that you see that.
Yeah.
It really is.
Kind of a funky sequence there, but I understand the logic.
Yeah. All right, Flipperoo again. And it looks like Corvese again without the 5th land, and it does not look like this is a Restoration Angel, so this might just be a life gain here from Deathrite Shaman. All right, it's gonna be a drain. Gonna remove the Farseek, put Sharfman down to 18. But now you see Huntmaster starting to get a little busy this game.
Yep. Anytime it goes back and forth twice is usually a bad sign for the
a tough one to win. And now another Planeswalker going to show up in Vraska the Unseen. For my money, the most flavorful Planeswalker ever made.
Oh yeah. I don't like that the tokens don't have Death Touch. That doesn't really make sense.
I don't like that either. I wish
they're
they did have
assassins.
Death
They
Touch.
kill people.
Yes.
But it is sweet.
Thraktos shows up here for Corvese, trying to stabilize a little bit. And again, you saw Sharfman not activate his Liliana again, which means that he's just drawing solid cards and finds that there's no reason for activations. Also doesn't want to backdoor Harry into like an Angel Serenity somehow. If he discards that and has some Burial Rites in his hand. So it's kind of weird to see Liliana the Veil out there not doing anything, but I think I'm okay with it, as you're going to see Vraska take care of Thraktos, and then Liliana's going to make him sacrifice the Beast token.
Tag team to take down a Thraktos.
Yeah. So Thraktos is so good, it takes 2 Planeswalker activations.
Yeah.
Now in Burial Rites on Thraktusk. So back for more. Take that, Liliana and Vraska.
It took so much effort last time.
Looks like the draw step this turn for Sharfman was a little bit better than the previous ones. I believe that was Olivia Valderin. And he is reaching. And it is Olivia Valderin. It looks like he has a Farseek to cast as well, so 2 spells are going to flip Ravager back into Huntmaster.
Mm-hmm. The 3rd time now.
Yeah, you said 2 was a lot.
Yeah.
3 feels like a bunch. And now Liliana can actually go up, discarding Angel Serenity. This was the fear, right?
And you saw the look on Sharpman's face there.
This was the fear of something that could happen. Now the funny thing now is that Vraska, oddly enough, has Liliana covered, or has, Angel Serenity covered right now when it does come back via Unburial Rites. So if you're looking for upsides, that's one of them. As Corvese is going to draw a card. And also, let's keep one thing in mind. Put things in perspective here. Corvese only going to 4 this game.
Yes, this is a 4-card hand.
Yeah, and he is putting up a heck of a fight. Sharfman isn't in danger of losing currently, but, you know, it's not smooth sailing where it normally would be for someone who mulligans to 4.
Are we currently, I believe there may be some question about whether this Ravager of the Fells trigger was missed.
Sure. And was this announced in a timely manner, as Harry has already drawn a card, and so we'll get a ruling on that, guys, for you in just a moment. We're gonna take a little look, Skipoo.
Yeah. Check out the action real quick.
Vraska often unseen, so it's good to check to make sure that you know what it does. As you said, when that one was previewed, that hit the scene in a big way.
Yeah, I mean a lot of that is because the design is pretty sweet, as
Yeah.
you're going to see. Flashback on Burial Rites.
Gonna shoot. And then yeah, this is Thraktos is going to take down. I think it takes down the. Wow, I'm very surprised by that. It doesn't take down Vraska.
I think he plus Vraska.
Sure, I mean it would die, but I think it's worth your Thraktos dying to become a beast to take that thing down, because now your Angel Serenity bites the dust, and he gets back his Olivia and his his Huntmaster.
It's totally legit.
So that one was a little bit curious to me, because I feel like the turn of sweep your guys, eat your Vraska, leave you with the Liliana. Yes, I lose my Thragtusk is still a pretty good one.
Right, yeah, you have Angel Serenity in play.
Yeah. So here comes the Thragtusk from Sharfman. Going to follow that up with Olivia Valderin as well. And just simply pass the turn back. For all 6,100 of you that are watching, we do appreciate it here at SCGLive, and I promise
That was another Angel Serenity.
I will not bang on the table anymore into the microphone.
Angel Serenity, generally not shabby. Sorry, Umbrella Right's not a shabby draw here for Harry.
I've seen worse.
Let's see how he
Did we mention this was a mulligan to 4?
This is 4 cards.
This is a 4-card mulligan?
Yep. This is 4 cards. 1 less than 5, which is the typical, I can't win anymore.
Yeah.
5 cards. And you know, we were talking a little bit about, you know, this is kind of my fear from David's side of the matchup. He doesn't have a lot to pressure Harry, and left unchecked, the Junk Randomer deck is so much more powerful. Sharfman obviously is very ahead on total cards. He has a lot of big draws like Bonfire and Rakdos Return that can just kill Harry from here because Harry's taking so much damage. But still, I mean, you can't feel that confident right now if you're Sharfman, in spite of having a lot of your powerful cards and your opponent mulligan into 4.
Yeah, and I mean, he's sitting at 25 life, and as you said, if Bonfire the Damned off the top wins the game immediately because he is Corvese's at 8. But again, this is a very difficult situation to be in if you're Sharfman. Again, remember, he flipped Hunt Master of the Fells and Ravager Fells back and forth 3 times this game too. So he got to do, his little dance with Hunt Master Ravager, get all of the value from it that he could possibly get, attack for relevant amounts of damage, and he's having still a lot of difficulty in this game. And now Corvese said, all right, I'm going to try to finish off that Vraska finally, since that trigger isn't there. And if you want to trade your Beast token for that, feel free.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's and the Umbrella Rise is also still in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Oh, so Sharfman's going to let that go.
Yeah, I think it's probably just too good for...
Ooh, Putrefy. That was timely.
That was a big draw.
That was a huge draw. Now the Beast token's going to come across for 3. And Sharfman cast that one pretty quickly. So now here's a Thragtusk.
But you can see why also with that sequence, Sharfman being pretty happy to not trade with the Thragtusk last turn is don't give Harry more options to spin around with his Umbrella Rights. Arguably, it's better for him to actually reanimate Thragtusk here because Sharfman now has him on 5. He has a lot of draws that just kill him. So he can actually deal with an Angel of Serenity. He has so much life to play around with. But the Thragtusk would actually be potentially more dangerous to allow Harry to reanimate.
So Sun Petal Grove. Here's a Deathrite Shaman. And I like that Harry got that back with his Angel of Serenity as a way to probably gain himself some life back over the course of the game, assuming we can get to that point.
Yep.
Has Umbrella Rights in the graveyard for Angel of Serenity and just passes the turn back. So this smells like a Restoration Angel.
Yes. It's got that whiff about it.
Yeah. And if you're Sharfman, that's the first thing you have to be thinking of, is this really smells like Restoration Angel, because why wouldn't you want to get back Umbrella Rights, or excuse me, Angel of Serenity with Umbrella Rights? But maybe if you're Corvese, you're saying, I'm not casting Angel of Serenity, or at least getting it back, until you have Olivia Valderin in play, because currently I can't beat Olivia Valderin.
Yeah.
So Sharfman going to come across with Thragtusk and the Beast token, and that stench is familiar.
Yeah, there it is.
Restoration Angel, here to blink the Thragtusk, 5 life, and a Beast token. Ambush of blockers. After the dust settles, Sharfman is left with a Beast token. Now here's Olivia, which can finish off that Restoration Angel, which it does. And now a Hunt Master fell, so now Sharfman getting a lot of stuff on the table.
Yep. And trying to just buy himself enough airspace to get to the point where his X spells finish him off, particularly Bonfire, but as I believe that's another Restoration Angel.
And you have Corvese not at 5 life anymore, but at 10 now.
Yeah, but if Olivia goes unchecked, a lot of this is irrelevant.
But we know that he has that Umbrella Rights just at the ready for the Angel of Serenity. Here's your Mulch. Mulch is going to show us a Gavany Township, a Temple Garden, Isolated Chapel, and Abrupt Decay going to go to the bin. So again, Corvese, not having played a land yet, can play Gavany Township and threaten that activation, can also bring back his Angel of Serenity and clear up 3 of these creatures, or maybe do a little bit of rebuying of his graveyard with a Thragtusk that's down there, I believe. He has a lot of options here, and you see him taking his time figuring out what he wants to do.
I think that you just have to start here because Olivia is too troublesome otherwise.
Yep. I agree completely.
However else he wants to set up this Angel of Serenity is open for debate, but you just can't let him untap with Olivia at this point.
So Angel of Serenity is going to eat Huntmaster of the Fells and Olivia Voldaren and going to bring back a Restoration Angel for Corvese. You saw him mulch first to get some information on what he wants to do, and it looks like he's going to pass the turn back. So Sharfman going to draw a card. It's not a Bonfire of the Damned. Makes you wonder what it is. He, again, has a lot of draws, as we mentioned. One of them we haven't even brought up yet is a card like Kessig Wolfrun, which does a lot to turn this game around.
But again, you know, Harry is going to start to give himself a little bit of breathing space with that Deathrite Shaman. He's going to be able to go up to 12, to 14, etc., etc.
Now there's your Township land for the turn. Avacyn's Pilgrim was the draw. That's going to come into play. Will Corvese try to get aggressive? He will. So we saw a little bit earlier when Osip and I were covering a match when you were on break with Sigarda that was a little bit timid during round 2, but Corvese not wasting any time. He wants to cut the draw steps in this game very quickly as Sharfman looks to have missed a relevant draw again, but he is tapping mana, and there's a Huntmaster of the Fells.
Yeah, no, it's very important for, you know, time is, in some respects, time is on Harry's side, but there's so many dangerous draws that Sharfman has access to. You want to cut this game off as soon as possible.
And the one that we do keep mentioning is Bonfire of the Damned. 3 of them in Sharfman's deck list. In his main, none in the sideboard, and I think that's the big one that he's trying to draw to right now. You see a Gavany Township activation, a little bit bigger for those creatures. Now you're going to see Deathrite Shaman remove something.
And remember, we saw Bonfire of the Damned revealed to the Sin Collector earlier, so there's at least one copy in the deck.
Corvese draws a card. That is another land. And he does still have a Restoration Angel in his hand that he is sandbagging pretty well here.
Yeah, and obviously that gives him is a ton of insurance.
Yeah. He's setting a really nice trap here with Restoration Angel. Making Sharfman, trying to make Sharfman feel a little bit more overconfident. Like, I'm flooding, I don't really have anything. No reason for him to pull the trigger on it at all.
Yep.
You know, doesn't really change very much on the board. And now Thragtusk is coming across with this Angel of Serenity, putting Sharfman to the test of how do you want to block, what do you want to do, how do you want to balance your life total.
I suspect it's a little bit too early in the game for Sharfman to be chump blocking. Especially if one of his big draws here is Bonfire, he needs to keep his board as full as possible to actually threaten lethal if that happens.
Yep. So Corvese is going to knock Sharfman down a little bit, and you notice no Gavany Township activation to get 2 more points of damage across. Just something to keep in mind there. If you're Sharfman, it shows not to activate.
Yeah, it represents, you know, access to. I mean, at this point, given that he activated Township end of turn, last turn, and has again not activated it, Restoration Angel is the most logical conclusion you can draw from that sequence.
Sure. You can start to, by deduction, you can start to infer some information there.
Right. It has to be something. So we are. It appears we're going to just main phase our Restoration Angel here. I think in part, or basically due to the fact that Huntmaster of the Fells is in play, doesn't want that to flip over.
Well, if there was ever a time to draw Bonfire of the Damned, this would be it, and it is not here yet again. And I'm sure if we could read into Sharfman's thoughts right now, that's what he's thinking every draw step.
Yep. This hand appears to be, is it land and Liliana of the Veil, it looks like?
Well, I think, yeah, you have to play the land so that your Bonfire can be as big as it possibly can be and pass the turn back. So Huntmaster of the Fells does have the opportunity to flip here, as you're going to see Corvese knock Sharfman down 2 less life, removing a Farseek. Flip the Huntmaster, take care of the Pilgrim, or at least try to.
Yeah, I think we're going to respawn here with a Township activation.
We're
just going to attack for lethal. All right, I don't actually with Deathrite. If there's a spell in the graveyard too, right? So I actually think just with the Flyers and Deathrite, we're putting together a lethal attack here.
I think you were right. You take a look at the Angel of Serenity.
11-13. Yeah, the Flyers plus Deathrite Shaman is 13.
Yeah, the Flyers are 11, and the Deathrite Shaman activation makes it exactly 13. Does Corvese go for it? I don't see a reason why he wouldn't.
I mean, certainly attacking just with the flyers is, all right, put him to the test. If you want to hold back on the ground, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But the likelihood that he has a spot removal spell you have to feel is fairly low, because you probably would have tried killing your Angel Serenity to get some of those creatures back.
So now all the creatures are coming sideways. Sharfman going to do some blocking. Wants to get some trades going here.
Yeah, again, this is Sharfman needs to have something extra here. It's going to pass.
So Dust is going to settle.
And there
that is it. On a mulligan to 4. Harry Corvese wins this match 2-0 over Pro Tour Nagoya champion David Sharfman. Pretty unreal.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty unreal game.
It's not like you can even argue. Sharfman's draw was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, he had multiple planeswalkers. It sort of looked like he was doing his thing, but you know, like we were saying, unless you're doing something to shut off the graveyard, maybe your ground sealing or whatever, it's so hard to win a slow attrition game against the Junk Reanimator deck, because Angel Serenity, Thragtusk, and Burial Rites, that shell is just, you can't outgrind that. You have to win the game pretty quickly, or you need to shut off that line of attack.
Yep.
But if you actually allow the Junk Reanimator deck to go about its business doing that sort of thing, and you're not winning the game particularly quickly, it's a really uphill battle. Now, you know, obviously Sharfman has Bonfire of the Dam there as a draw. There's a couple of turns where Rakdos Return probably blows him out of the game. We're not talking about a ton of draws in Sharfman's deck, and he doesn't have a lot of ways to find them. He's not revelating or whatever. He's just kind of playing off the top of his deck. And on 4 cards, Harry still had enough time to get his engine set up, and then that's it.
So congratulations to Harry Corvese on winning this match, coming off his 3 buys. He's going to move on to 4-0. David Sharfman off of his 3 buys is going to take